Good evening and welcome. First up, news from the UK. The Westminster Magistrate Court in London will resume hearing in the extradition case against Vijay Mallya today. According to reports, the Indian side is set to argue that statements recorded by the Central Bureau of Investigation, or CBI, against the businessman are admissible in the court. The Indian side is also likely to inform the court that the businessman committed the crime under the UK Fraud Act 2006. Mallya is wanted in a rupees 9,000 crore fraud and money laundering case in India. During the last hearing in January, Mallya's lawyer, Claire Montgomery, had argued that evidence presented by the Crown Prosecution Service was a blueprint of dishonesty and was in fact a privileged conversation between Mallya and his lawyer and hence should be inadmissible. Right, joining me live from London outside the court is my colleague Mandy Clark. Good evening, Mandy. Have you heard from Vijay Mallya yet or his legal team so far?
Not so far. They have come by, and just behind me, Claire Montgomery has just walked in with boxes of evidence. We are expecting them to argue the admissibility of the evidence so far. It's not going to be a long hearing. We don't expect today, just an hour or so to wrap up the final arguments, and then both sides are due to put in their closing arguments, and hopefully we're going to get a date of when the judge will hand down the verdict. But it's been an awfully long time. This extradition hearing, they were hoping to wrap before Christmas, but it's just extended and extended with so many legal arguments and legal wrangling over this case.
Also, Mandy, take us through what's happening around you as we speak. Has the prosecution team, the CBI team from India, already entered the court premises, or are we waiting for Vijay Mallya himself to arrive? Will he at all show up today?
He is most likely to show up. He is not enforced to show up, but he hasn't really missed a court date so far, so we're fully expecting him to arrive anytime soon. Both sides have now entered the court case, likely preparing their final statements. So, and neither of them were willing to offer any suggestions or speak. Claire just walked in. She didn't say much when she headed in, but both sides say they're very confident. We'll only really know how it will land when the judge makes her verdict. It has been a very legal-heavy case, and what they're trying to do in this extradition hearing is prove that there is a case to be heard. It's a prima facie case, so they don't have to prove the guilt or innocence. They have to prove that there is indeed a case to be heard in India, and that will decide whether he is due to be extradited there.
Indeed, and also very quickly, Mandy, are you hearing anything at all about the prosecution's line of argument that they will adopt in the hearing today? The CBI says the statements are admissible in the UK Magistrates Court.
That's what we're expecting them to say, indeed. You're right, that there isn't a question about admissibility. What the defense had put forward is that it was not admissible because these the way that these statements were set out, they were templates. They weren't necessarily the voice of the witnesses, and they weren't signed. So that was the defense arguments. We're expecting the prosecution to come back and strongly rebut those arguments, and so that we will see that admissibility. But it will really be up to the judge to decide. So hopefully we'll know either way if that will be considered as part of the evidence.
Right, on that note, Mandy Clark in London, thank you so much for that live update from outside the court premises.